Hello ladies and gentlemen, you're watching the Grant County, West Virginia Matrix Show. I'm your host, Brian Shreve, and in today's show I will be discussing the Grant County Press, some articles in it on April 17th, 2018. The first article I will be discussing is the county approves expensive expansion at Michaelfield. It appears that some of that Michaelfield was being leased, and during that time 2 small t-ball fields and a portion of the area's parking spaces were built on that land. Now, common sense tell anybody, if you're leasing property, don't put a bunch of money into it. It looks like the county commissioners got themselves in a bit of a bind. Looks like they had their arm twisted on this deal. The lease was running up, and the owner of the property wanted to sell and sold the property for $100,000, 3.4 acres, which comes out to $29,411.77 per acre, which is way too much for that piece of property, way too much. And in the back of the press, there is a picture of the property. Not a very good picture, it's in black and white, but it says much of Michaelfield was underwater from that big rain we had. So that tells you right there that property is in the flood zone. Now, I'm not going to give the county commissioners too hard of a time on this, because this is something for the kids. But I hope they learn a valuable lesson from this. This is taxpayer money, $100 grand, that's a lot of money that had to be spent to get them out of a bad decision that they made. So I hope they learn a lesson from it. And I hope the person that owned the property that charged them that much loses some sleep and should feel bad for what they done. I mean, that's terrible. That's something for the kids. I don't agree with that one bit, charging the county $100 grand for that. And the county commissioners need to be very careful about getting caught in messes like that again. That's a lot of money. That's taxpayer money. That's my money and your money that they spent on that because they made a bad decision. That's just my opinion. Then moving on, there's another article about the law officer in the local schools. Me personally, I'm all for that, helping the kids, protecting the kids. But there's a part of this article that I got a kick out of. Doug Swick, he says, I am tired of the commission being thrown under the bus on it. He's talking about the officer in the school. Supposedly they approved that funding for that back in 2013. But it just tickles me how he says he's tired of the commission being thrown under the bus. Now, I could sit and talk about this comment for a half hour, but I'm trying to improve on my professionalism. So I'm just going to say this about it. If you can't take a dose of your own medicine, don't dish it out, Dougie Poo. Just stop and think of the day shift working class you've thrown under the bus and ignored for years. And then you want to sit and whine about the commissioners being thrown under the bus, about the police officer in the schools. Give me a break. Moving on, there was a really nice letter to the editor, written by Jim Heinbaugh. Very nice man. If you ever get a chance to talk to him, talk to him. Very educated. Knows what he's talking about. I'm not going to read his whole letter, but I will read some key sections of it that really stuck out to me. This year's elections are about replacing a failed and corrupt political establishment with a new government controlled by us, the American people. We must realize that there is nothing the political establishment will not do and no lie they will not tell, to hold on to their prestige and power at our expense. Sounds a lot like our county commissioners. They have a lot of prestige. And I think we need to make some changes in Grant County. Moving on to another section of Jim's letter. This is not simply another four-year election. This is a crossroads in the history of our civilization that will determine whether or not we the people reclaim control over our government. We the people are the voice. The government works for us. That includes the county commissioners. They work for us. The only power they have is the power we let them have. And we've let them get by with way too much. Way too much. The secrecy needs to stop. The government is supposed to fear the people, not the other way around. So I thought that was a real good letter Jim put in here. Actually, I like all of his letters. He does good work. We need more people like Jim Heinbaugh. And that's about all I have to say about the Grant County Press. I'd like to give everybody a friendly reminder. I am not a candidate right now, so I'm not under the same restrictions and guidelines as a candidate. So I can say a few things that a candidate cannot say, because there is a ethics commission that they have to obey. This show is an extension from my Facebook group, Grant County, West Virginia Matrix. And on that group, I talk about UFOs, Bigfoot, secret societies, all kinds of crazy, bizarre, conspiracy type stuff. And this show is just an extension to that group. It's not dedicated to me running for office. I started this show so I could have some fun talking about stuff that I enjoy. Conspiracies is my hobby, one of my hobbies. I enjoy talking politics. I enjoy talking smack. That's just me. I'm not going to change myself to please anybody else. I am who I am. That's just how it is. And I really appreciate the people that do watch my show. I'm getting a good many number of views. I like that. And anything you want me to talk about or bring up or discuss, feel free to message me. I ain't that hard to get along with. And before I forget, Mr. Riggleman, I get off work at 3:30, so I'm unable to get in Petersburg in time to go to the meetings. And that's about all I have for today's show. So until next time, stay safe and be careful out there, will ya?